Hi to all of you there. Welcome to part 2 of Building Positive Classroom Culture. In this episode, I thought I would talk about delegation. Delegation, in my 15 years of experience in the field of education, is a key that I wish I had learned when I had studied my teaching degree, and I wish all teacher mentors had shared with me. It's something that I realized later on in my teaching career that was just such a beautiful thing to understand. It just changed the dynamics of the classroom in a way that you'll never truly understand until you experience it yourself. Delegation is a very big yet simple word. It's something that students desire in every lesson. Now, when I say students desire this, not all students like the responsibility of taking ownership of a task. There are some students, and I know you can relate to this, that may have ADD or really love the attention, really love to be seen, heard, and noticed. And these are the students that I really love to get to make an impact on. And I think that's how I found out the impact of delegation. I had so many students that I just struggled with in so many different classes in different parts of the world, in particular Northeast, Southeast DC, Melbourne, Australia, my home country, and New York. And so there was, I can't pinpoint the exact time, but there was just a time in my profession that I just had a breakthrough, a light bulb moment, and thought, oh my goodness, this is a breakthrough for me. So let me give you an example of a delegating type of task situation. I had a student, and I'm not sure if this was the breakthrough moment, but I had a student. He was always trying to be seen and heard, and always getting up, walking around the class, throwing things. He was always doing something. And I know, those of you watching can relate to that. There is always a student that is just trying to reach out for more attention. So I thought this can't happen anymore. He's too distracting. So because of my passion for psychology, I realized I had to figure out why he was doing this. So I questioned him. I said, "You'd love to move around and, all of that." He goes, "Yes, miss, I get bored. I hate to sit down in one place." So I said, "All right, let me give you a task if you really like to get out and about." So I gave him, just the worksheets, something as simple as that. I was like, what can I give him? Because I didn't plan on this conversation. So I gave him the worksheets. He handed them out. There was something in him that was a lot more calmer than he was at the beginning of the lesson. He even thanked me. So then I started to realize, okay, this student, he was in high school. This student loved to just hand out worksheets. Maybe I could give him something else a little bit more challenging, more demanding. So then that's when I started to infuse that into my lesson plan. Okay, what can I give this student that's going to keep him engaged and still get him to be on task, but just keeping him engaged. So then I actually got him to lead a PowerPoint. So I used to use a lot of visuals and make presentations to have a really engaging lesson. And so I got him to just flip through the screens. And it might sound really simple, but I cannot tell you how much this student was engaged. Because as he was flipping through my PowerPoint slides, he was actually listening and watching and learning and processing. So by the time we got to the task, the independent learning and engaging the students in an activity, what do you know? He was engaged in the task. He was actually engaged. He was on task. So I say all that to say, from that point on, delegation became the thing in every class with every student that I had issues with, disciplinary issues with, or, challenges to try to get them to be on task and engaged. So I cannot emphasize enough, delegation. Not only does it help engage those students that are more, that tend to become off task, but it helps you as a teacher to feel like, whoa, I'm giving up some power and control. And I know a lot of teachers don't like to do that. They don't like to give up their control, and they feel like, what if it goes out of control? What if the lesson goes out of control? So what if it does? You just regain the control. It's very, very simple. The worst thing that could happen is the students get really excited. Nothing can really ever go that wrong when you delegate and you become proactive. And it's all a part of differentiation, which is a clip for another time. But delegation, make sure you include that in your lesson plan. Look at all the students in your class that you know have problems focusing and keeping engaged and on task, and think about what you can do to give them something that is going to make them feel like they have some kind of ownership of their learning, but that they're also in control and have responsibility. And it also shows them that you trust them. And when a child or a student feels trusted, they feel empowered. And when they feel empowered, that is where learning begins. So I challenge you to think of, start with 1 to 2 different ways that you could release responsibility to students. I recommend that you could just start with something as simple as handing out tasks, leading a PowerPoint presentation, and that is the beginning of something greater where you can actually get students to start to present a lesson to the class, a 5-minute mini lesson from these students, and that can become a form of assessment as well. So, it's a way of checking for understanding, but it's also a way to make students feel like, wow, she trusts us to be mini teachers. Trust me, this delegation strategy is mind-blowing, and you will see results. So I'm really excited to see how it impacts your teaching and your learning, and how it really does positively affect those students that you find so challenging to get engaged. So please feel free to email me any thoughts or responses on Jaime, JAIMEY_00@hotmail.com, or alternatively, you could email some comments below this video. Thank you, and see you again next time.